and gentlemen, day 4 has begun. Excuse me. That's day 4 has begun. The verdict watch. The defense team has shown up already, and going for a little stroll here. But I wanted to talk about. I'll show you what's going on. Morning crowd is always light. Shouldn't be light this morning though. Could be a verdict at any moment. At any moment. Sometimes the jury will sleep on it, and that potentially could be what happened here. So we shall see. Go down. These folks are here every day. The early arrivals get the seats, the lawn chairs, etc. But these notes yesterday, significant, very significant. Courthouse. How you doing?
Good morning.
Yeah. Best dressed guy right here.
How's it going?
Good,
oh,
good.
You're good. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sure. All right, good morning, good morning. Good morning. So, all right. Looks like I'm getting some of the comments floating. I'm just on YouTube right now. The other, good morning, good morning. The other software was not working 100% well. So let's just sit, we're gonna sit down right here for just a minute. And look at some of the questions and comments this morning as we get ready for another day. Let's see if I go like that. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to put the message. I don't know how to put the, how you doing? Oh yeah, we've been on this case forever. Forever.
What's going to happen today?
I think today could be the day. Today's the most likely day of this week.
Tomorrow?
You're looking at the week. Tomorrow nothing will happen because they're off tomorrow. They know they're off tomorrow. I don't know if they know that they'd have to come back on Friday or not, because originally they're supposed to be off on Friday. So this has the feel of a Friday, and with the feel of a Friday, sometimes it speeds things up a little bit. The problem is if they're hung, if they're legitimately hung on one of these counts, it's going to take a while for the judge to declare a mistrial, because they got to keep sending out notes. They don't know they got to send 3 notes out. They don't know that. They sent 1 note out, but it was sort of vague if they were just theoretically talking about being stuck or if they were actually stuck. I think they were actually stuck personally, but at this point, you know, if it's going to be a hung jury, I don't think it could happen today, but a verdict could happen today. I think at a minimum, we're going to get a note, at least by the afternoon, giving us the status of where they are. We sort of got that yesterday, but it wasn't interpreted that way by the court.
Making it awfully difficult.
Yeah, it's tough, but they did write the word if. They put the word if. Now it depends how you talk. Like if I'm sitting here and this guy's talking to me, do I have to talk to him? Now that's not theoretical. I'm actually sitting here and he's here and I am talking to him. But the word if, depending upon how you speak, can mean different things. But the judge has to read it, you know, the way it's written, right? She can't interpret it a way that is not directly written. So if they write if, then it is theoretical, it is hypothetical, even if in the vernacular of the person, that was not the meaning. But the way the response was, you know, how do you respond to that? The big question this morning is, why did they leave early? Why did they leave early yesterday? Because it was their choice. Did they leave early because they all agreed and they wanted to sleep on it? Or was it like, we're not getting anywhere, let's get some space, we'll come back tomorrow? It's one extreme or the other. That's the only way I see it for leaving early. If things are just going along, then you just go along with the normal rhythm of everything. So, you know, something happened at the end of the day in the afternoon after the response and the notes back and forth and the instructions. So we'll see. So I'm on high alert. High alert today. High alert today. All right, let me see. I am live. I just wanted to make sure you knew that I'm recording you. Okay, I didn't want to secretly record you. Okay. I don't know how to put these things on. Let me see if I know how to do it. Channel activity. Okay, I don't know. Michelle L, thank you so much. I'm not on the usual software, so I don't think I can put any of the comments up. There might be a way. I don't know how to do it. I apologize because the software I was using was not loading this morning. So I just want to get on live real quick here on YouTube. A lot of people giving their verdicts. Looking good, Vinnie. How's the weather in Massachusetts today? All right, I'll show you the skies. It's overcast. It's getting a little bit warmer. It's supposed to be really warm tomorrow, 90 degrees. It was chilly the first night I was here on Monday. But yeah, it's like that. The moisture is hanging in the air, and you feel like it could rain or not rain at any minute. So, thank goodness the verdict wasn't yesterday, because it would have come down in the heaviest rain we've had this week. So, hopefully it doesn't rain for the verdict. Nick 4 is saying OUI manslaughter count 2, guilty. Interesting. A lot of people talking about that. In the note, they only mentioned charge 5. Now, it might have been trying to not divulge where they actually were, but you know, if they're back out. Okay, let's take a look. We're live. We've got the defense team leaving, so I'll show you that. You can see all the folks here. Here comes Karen Reed's father and family coming down. Morning. Morning. All right, so that's Karen Reed's family, the brother and the father, and everyone there walking. So they went into court, jury's back deliberating, so here we are, folks. Here we are. So the jury gets into the room, and then, you know, could send a note out at any minute, especially after the way yesterday ended. All right. Hello from the UK, Karen. Thank you so much. Vinnie, do you have your red tie? It's kept right here in the pocket. Red tie in the pocket. All right. Courtney Marie, not guilty 1 and 3. If the charge is a normal OUI, then guilty, but nothing with manslaughter murder. Well, now if you take the words of the actual notes yesterday, the way they were written, they said, if we find her not guilty on 2 of the charges and are hung on a third charge, is it a hung jury on just the 1 charge or all 3 charges? See, they're trying to figure out what a hung jury is. They don't know. And when a jury doesn't know how to report their verdict, that's a problem. That's a problem with the system. That's a problem. And it really comes back to that verdict slip. And it's Massachusetts. You can't blame the judge. You blame Massachusetts. So when there's lesser included charges in a verdict form in Massachusetts, you are not permitted to give the option of a not guilty box to check for all the lesser includes. There's only 1 box for not guilty, but then there's a box for the offense charge plus, in this case, I think it's the 4 lesser includeds. There's only a guilty box for all of them. And Massachusetts does that on purpose, because if the jury gets hung, whether it's on the offense charge or the least of the lesser included, if they're hung, then the defendant gets retried on the top charge. Doesn't sound fair, right? Doesn't sound right. That's the way Massachusetts does it. There was one case, I was doing some legal research, there was one case where they actually put the boxes in for the lesser included charges, and they checked off not guilty for several of them, and the court said they can't be retried on that. That's double jeopardy. The jury found him not guilty of the lesser included by checking the box not guilty. But the court didn't like that. The Massachusetts courts, the appellate courts, did not like that. They want a defendant tried on the top charge. It's very counterintuitive. They don't want partial verdicts for lesser included charges. So even if this jury reads the form and comes to the conclusion, I'm in a bad spot here, I'm almost hit by a car, and comes to the conclusion that not guilty of manslaughter, not guilty of involuntary manslaughter, not guilty of OUI, vehicular homicide, and is debating the least of the lesser charges, which is just driving while intoxicated, OUI in Massachusetts, okay? If they're hung up on whether or not she was drunk driving, that's the only charge they're hung up on, and the judge declares a mistrial, all those charges that the jury found her not guilty of while deliberating don't count. She's only not guilty of the top charge, and then if they have a third trial, she gets tried for the top charge, which is really counterintuitive from my perspective to double jeopardy. You shouldn't be tried twice for the same crime. And you can say it's a lesser included, but it is a crime. It is a crime. So in essence, Massachusetts allows people to potentially be tried twice for the same crime when it comes to partial verdicts for lesser included. They don't want to know what the jury found on any of the lesser included. It's just, is the defendant not guilty of all of them or guilty of one of them? So they have only one choice for not guilty, but they have here, I guess, 5 choices for guilty. That doesn't sound right to me. Whether it's this case or any case in Massachusetts, because that's the law, and the judge, you try to blame the judge, you can't blame the judge for that. The judge is following Massachusetts law. I've read the case law, that's what it says. So that's one of the tricky things here, because the defense, potentially, if we believe that the jury was divulging where they were and where they were focused, the defense, by having that operating under the influence charge added as a lesser included on count 2. Good morning. On count 2. And they found her not guilty of the collision, right? Because all the other charges are connected to the collision. They found no collision, but were just deciding or debating whether she's under the influence. She would have been found not guilty of every charge in count 2 if they're hung only on the OUI. I hope you're following this. Like, usually as a defense attorney, you want to give the jury the option of a real lesser included. But in Massachusetts, if that's where they end up and they can't decide on the lesser included, and you have to have another trial, it goes back to the top charge. I hope that made sense. I mean, it makes sense in my mind, but trying to explain it is something else. So I'll see your comments to see if it makes sense. Let's see. All right, I've got to go back to my live shot area because I think I'm going to go on the air soon. Yeah, Gen X, one of our mods. Thank you so much. Gen X saying it's unfair that the same confusion. Well, the same confusion is partially Massachusetts' fault for the way these jury slips are written. Because you look at page 2 of that jury slip, the only thing you could have done differently is indent some of the lesser included charges. But the way it's written, according to the law, good morning, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Excellent. So, depending upon, starting to rain. Every time it starts to rain, I think it's a verdict. Every time it starts to rain, it feels like a verdict.
Vinnie.
Good morning, Butterfly.
Would you take a picture of us?
All right, we're gonna take one picture here.
Thank you.
Good morning.
God bless.
Now I got your picture. There you go. All right. Good morning. Good. All right. So it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. I'm live streaming, Matt.
You are?
So don't say anything bad about me.
I would never say anything bad about Vinnie Politan. He's the nicest guy. He is exactly like you see him on TV, except actually nicer. And he has a lovely wife and a family. I love them. And just a great guy, right here.
There you go.
Mr. True
Match up.
Crime.
There you
Mr.
go.
True Crime.
Mr. True Crime. Thank you, Matt. So, so what did you hear from the jury? What did the jury tell you?
Okay, so the jury has not told me anything. I put in a few calls. No, just kidding. Obviously, no.
No.
But anyway, they are back deliberating. This is day 4. As Vinnie has told you, we are on this verdict watch. I was out there as the arrivals were happening. Hank Brennan, he's under gag order. I asked him how he's doing. He said, good morning, have a good day. And then Adam Lally didn't say anything. We had the O'Keefe family. Everyone was completely silent. I know you saw that when they were walking in and out of respect. The O'Keefe family actually asked not to be asked questions. They are asking for privacy during this time. They did the first trial. That's why you don't see media members coming up to them and asking questions. I want to make that very clear. So we're respecting them. They are the victim family, no matter how you see this case. And then Karen Reed, she has not been answering questions lately, but she did today. I asked her, how are you feeling on day 4 of deliberations? She said, I'm feeling very good, Matt, and then she walked past me.
Okay. And I saw her dad and brother and the rest of the family. They went to the parking lot in the back.
Yeah, they a lot of times the family members and everybody park in the back. We're across the street. It looks like a courthouse, but it's another historic building. It's the House of Deeds or something like that.
The Registry of Deeds.
Right.
The Registry of Deeds.
It's very official. It's very official. But so I saw the family members of Karen Reed. They usually walk with her, but I saw Bill and Janet Reed. Janet never speaks to the media. I think she's shy. And then so Bill answered a couple questions. I said, how are you feeling today? He said, very good. You know, yesterday he told me that they pray during deliberations. And yesterday he also mentioned that he just wants his daughter free, that this has been a nightmare for everybody involved, and he obviously also said that about the O'Keefe family.
Right.
He acknowledges that for the past 3 years or so.
All right, thank you, Matt.
Of course. I feel like that was like a report.
That was a
TV.
report. We went live. Well, we got to get the scoop. People need to know the scoop. All right, so I got to find out if and when I'm going on the air. Do you know when I'm supposed to go on the air?
I believe you're doing 11.
11?
And 1 o'clock.
Okay. All right, 11 and 1. Or when news...
Watch me at noon, and I think I'm going to be joining at 10, but we'll see, okay?
Or when news breaks.
Yes.
Right.
Just watch all the time.
Yeah, you just got to keep watching. All right. Morning. I'll show you the scene again here. I'll tell you what, good bagels in Dedham. There's a little bagel shop down there, very good. I live in Georgia. We don't have good bagels. Good bagels here. All right, let's get let's see some more of the questions. Hey, Vinnie, Nicole from Cali. Hey, Nicole from Cali. Laura, Massachusetts, crazy now. Everyone's talking about this. Juju Bean, 3rd time is the charm. 3rd time is the charm. All right. Let's see who else. Gen X is letting everyone know that the filter eats the comments if you use too many emojis. Careful with your emoji use. Well, the form's not clear, but the form, it's really page 2. Let me see if I got, when you look at it, the problem is the lesser includeds. That's, and the jury, when they asked their question, didn't even refer to them as lesser includeds. They called them subcharges. Oh, the rain is really starting to fall now. The rain is starting to fall. I may have to put on a light rain jacket in a little bit. I have to go out amongst the people. Right now I've got a little bit of shade where I am. Protected here in the Register of Deeds. Okay, let's see. Scrolling through some of the messages here, trying to see where we are.
There's so many people over there. It's tough.
I don't usually go just on YouTube, so the format here is a little. Aussie Mel saying it's red tie day. Yeah, the red tie. We're ready. I'm ready when it happens. So to give you an idea why I think today's the day. Number one, the notes yesterday, right? Seems like they've made some progress, a lot of progress in this case. That's number one. Number two, just looking at how long a normal deliberation takes. 31 days of trial. We had a bunch of half days. 1 hour for every day. We were at 16 beginning today. By the end of today, we're into the 20s. Plus, it's a Wednesday with a Friday feel because there's no court tomorrow. And I think the jury believes that there will be no court on Friday, although there will be deliberations on Friday, is my understanding. I don't know if the jury knows that. So it's a Friday feel, which speeds up everything. For those of you who've been watching Court TV through the years, you know that 70% of our verdicts are on Fridays for whatever reason, and I think it's because it's Friday. And if we're close, we're gonna close it out, and the jurors, put their nose to the grindstone and get it done. I think the same thing can happen today on this Wednesday because tomorrow, Juneteenth, is a holiday and the courts will be closed. Okay, if the top charge is not guilty, then the lesser included items. Oh, wait, I'm trying to read this. It's scrolling fast. I think I have to hold it so I don't lose it. Let's see. There was a question. I can't find it. It disappeared on me. But I think the question, I don't know who wrote it either. It was about if the top charge is not guilty, then all the lesser included should be not guilty. That's not the way it works. Lesser included charges have some, but not all the elements of the top charge, right? That's why they're lesser included. They have some of the elements, but not all of the elements. So they're included beneath. And I don't know if the jury knows, but they are less and less severe in terms of the level of punishment and culpability. But they have different elements. They have less elements, so they're theoretically easier to prove. So and the way it's explained to the jury, and I think they edited the instruction and tried to make it clear to them in court yesterday that you go to the top charge. If that's not guilty, you go to the lesser included charge. If you find that that's not guilty, then you go to the lesser included charge. If that's not guilty, you go to the next charge. If any of them are guilty, you mark guilty and then you're done. You go to the bottom, and if you're not guilty on all of them, then you go all the way back to the top and check the not guilty box. It may not be fair, it may not be what you like. I'm sure most criminal defendants and most criminal defense attorneys don't like it, but it is the way they do it in Massachusetts. We've never had this issue before, so I'd have to check other states in the way they handle it. But as I recall, and I'd have to go back and look at some of the old verdict forms that I had, but I think other states do it differently. And the point of it is, in Massachusetts, if you get retried for the top count, because the not guilty is on, the hanging is on all of them. If you're not found guilty of any of them, and you're not found not guilty, then it's hung and you're tried again on that top charge. Let me check in with my producer, Grace Wong, and see what's going on. All right, Grace, I'm live streaming, just so you know, so don't say anything bad. What's my status? What do I have to do?
I'm hooking you up with another shooter.
Oh, okay.
So,
And I'll be ready to go whenever.
Yeah, you'll be ready to go.
Okay. Okay.
Find him.
Okay. All right. So I'll be getting to work very soon here, folks. Very soon. It's a little rainy. Should I put the raincoat on? I think I have to. It's just Same rain jacket that I wore for Murdoch. Same rain jacket as Murdoch. So, all right. Stay tuned. I'll stream again. I'll stream again. I will see you. I gotta get ready to be on the TV. Turn on Court TV all day. You don't want to miss it. A verdict can happen at any moment. I'm just gonna scroll through, make sure I didn't miss anything. Missing. Oh wow, there's a lot of comments. Wow, so many comments. Thank you to the mods. Thank you, everyone. Be ready. All right, now I have to figure out how to turn this off. I don't even know how to turn this off. I don't know how to end my live stream.
Oh, of course.
I don't know how to turn it off. I told you, I never did this before. Here, I can turn around. I'll show you what's happening out here. I didn't know you could flip the camera live. All right, folks, I figured out how to end it. Goodbye and good luck.